video from the People's Justice Party, and we have just concluded the 13th general election in Malaysia. And the greatest joke in the world now is the indelible ink which the Election Commission promised to use is actually washable. So that is the biggest joke in the whole country. 3 days before the election, the army and the police had an early voting, and everybody coming out from the election, the police and the military, washed their hands, and within 5 minutes the ink was washed off. And we complained to the Election Commission, but they didn't bother, and they continue to use the same ink. So indelible ink in Malaysia is washable ink. So that is something which everybody is laughing, and they knew about this, but they didn't purposely wanted to use this washable ink and cheat the public and say it's indelible. So now this is just one way they're cheating. When ink can be washed, that means the same person can vote many times. As soon as he wash out the ink, he can go and vote again in another school or another polling station. So that is the biggest joke in Malaysia, and the whole world is laughing. Now, why do they want to have ink that is washable? Obviously, they have many people registered in the electoral roll, and the same person now can vote 20 or 30 times even. As soon as he wash out the ink, in about 5 minutes, he can go and vote again. So there have been identity cards which have been found on the roadside, thrown by some for a voter, and apparently one guy has 20 cards, identity cards, which means that that same guy actually can vote 20 times. So this is one way they're cheating. There are many ways they cheat, because the Election Commission is not appointed by anybody except the government. So of course the government will appoint people into the Election Commission who are biased towards the government, and we are not allowed to contribute anybody into the Election Commission. So during the election process in the school, we have only one agent sitting there against 4 or 5 election commission agents who are appointed by the government, and there's another candidate, and there's another chap sitting there for the government. So basically, one counting agent belonging to opposition in a classroom with 6 people all working for the government. And there are many instances where this counting agent has been bought on the day of the election, and money has been given to him, and he will sign the form in a way that will benefit the government at the end of the day, irrespective of what the vote counts are. They purposely put many classrooms so that they can cheat in each of the classrooms. By right, there should be in one classroom 2 or 3 people representing the opposition, so that they can keep an eye on each other. But this is not allowed. And our counting agent in the classroom, when the voting process is on, are not allowed to look at the identity card. So obviously, a lot of identity cards are fake. For example, the Malaysian government and even Dr. Mahathir himself, who originated the IC program many years ago, has admitted that they have given 800,000 identity cards to foreigners, Muslims from southern Philippines, to come and live in the state of Sabah, and they are allowed to vote. The Election Commission says that anybody with an identity card is allowed to vote. In other words, foreigners are allowed to vote. Malaysia is the only country in the whole world. 800,000 foreigners are given identity cards, and their names are listed in the electoral roll. They have to join the UMNO. the government, United Malay Organization. This is the government ruling coalition. They have to join the party in order to get the card, and they are supposed to be loyal to the UMNO, which is ruling, the main ruling coalition in the government. So obviously it is unfair. It is like in America, 6 million Mexicans getting identity cards to vote for the Obama regime. So is it fair? Or maybe 10 million Mexicans giving voting rights to vote for Obama regime, for example. So this is obviously unfair. And although we have 51% of the popular vote and the government 47%, we cannot choose the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister still belongs to the government because of gerrymandering. Their government areas are 20,000 voters, whereas the opposition areas are 80,000. So it's 4 times bigger. So 80,000 people choose 1 seat, and in the government 80,000 people choose 4 seats. So however people vote, they will tend to win because of this uneven distribution of number of voters. And on top of that, a lot of people are not given IC, like in Sarawak. They are not given identity cards because they are rural people, they are anti-government, their land have been taken, dams have been built in their place to flood their farmlands. So these people are purposely not given identity cards, and therefore they cannot vote against the government. So the government basically select who to give identity cards and who not to give identity cards in order to skew the election. On top of that, before the election, the government gives out 500 Malaysian ringgit to everybody who they want to buy the vote from, particularly the natives, because these people are poor and $500 ringgit means a lot to them. In the towns, mostly Chinese, they don't want to give this 500 ringgit because the Chinese are too smart. Rural areas, they give 500 government money, and then they give another 500. So in a family, they can get a few thousand ringgit. And they're given laptops before the election. And now they promise that if they win, they'll give another 1,200 ringgit to everybody who they think vote for them. So this massive buying of votes costing billions of ringgit has actually depleted our government treasury. And our government now is in a state of maximum indebtment. We owe 550 billion US dollars. Instead of having credit, we're having deficit. And this giving out money is the most irresponsible way of buying votes in Malaysia. The whole world is looking at Malaysia as one of the most corrupt country. The regime is corrupt, the government is corrupt, and nobody apparently is able to change the government. They have been there for 50 years. They will cheat again in the next election and the next election. And father will be Prime Minister, son Prime Minister, and another one, like our present Prime Minister Najib, father Prime Minister Raza, son Najib Prime Minister, Mario Prime Minister, son is going to be Prime Minister soon, and so on. So this kind of monopoly is a kleptocracy, a government by a gang of thieves that rob the people, control them, and cheat them. I'm Dr. Teo from the People's Opposition, and I hope you look at some of my other videos entitled Election Fraud in Sarawak. Thank you very much, and good night.